Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I figured I would share with you guys some palettes that I feel like is inspired by spring, or just like some really good go-to spring palettes, because you guys know spring is officially here. So I went through my collection and I found a few palettes that scream spring, and of course like summertime to me. So if you guys are into like colorful eyeshadows or just colorful eyeshadow palettes, then of course just keep watching. Alright, so I'm just going to start in terms of like the oldest palettes and then work my way up to like the newer palettes for 2019. So starting off, the first one is going to be by Bad Habit Beauty. It's going to be the Aftershock eyeshadow palette. Here is the packaging for it. It's so cute. It's very like vibrant, fun, and colorful, and it definitely matches the theme of the actual eyeshadows itself. I have used this palette before on my channel. If I can find a video, I'll have it down below for you guys to check it out. But again, the packaging match the box the exact same, and then you also have the names of the eyeshadows on the back of the packaging, and when you open it up, here is what it looks like. So it's definitely, again, a nice springtime eyeshadow palette. You do have your pops of colors in here. You do have like your orange, your pinks, your teals, your blues, just those really fun colors. And the funny thing was, when I was going through the actual like palettes that I was picking, I was like, some of these palettes could be duped for like each other, just to be honest. So you don't have to get all of these palettes. Just find which one worked the best for you, or just find one that pretty much just catch your attention. So their eyeshadow palette is super pigmented. I have told you guys before in the past, you do get a bit of fallout with their actual eyeshadows, so you have to decide if fallout is too much for you. But at the same time, they're super pigmented, intense in color. Here is what the purple looked like swatched on my hand, and I'll swatch another. Let's swatch the pink. We all love a nice vibrant pink. All right, so here is the pink swatched on my hand, and I'll go ahead and I'll swatch one more for you guys. I'll swatch the teal. All right, here is a teal swatched on my hand. So again, it's a really good pigmented eyeshadow palette. Again, you do get quite a bit of fallout. You have to decide if too much fallout is going to bother you or not. The shimmer shades work really well on its own. If you wet it, you guys know the shimmer shades perform even better. And you do get your go-to colorful pops of colors in here. You don't get any like browns or like blacks in this palette. It's just a straight colorful palette. So if you're the kind of person who likes to have a brown or black like me, you're going to have a companion palette with it. But you can still create an actual like look with this palette alone. You don't have to have a brown or black to create a look, because I mean, it is a colorful eyeshadow palette. But if you like to have a brown or black, you definitely will need to have another palette with this. But I do think it's a really good palette. Again, if I can find a video, I will have it down below for you guys to check it out. You used to could get it on the Shop Hush app, but I don't know what, I think Shop Hush, I don't know if they're like changing or if they're like going away as an actual company, but I did get all of my stuff from Shop Hush. So if you want to check it out, you'll probably have to go to the actual Bad Habit Beauty website to get your purchase if you do want to check it out. But I definitely think it's a really good palette to have for the spring and summertime, and definitely check it out if you are the kind of person who loves to play with color. All right, moving on, I do have the e.l.f. Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette. It's going to be the Jewel Pop eyeshadow palette. You guys know I have a few of their matte for matte eyeshadows in my collection. Here is the packaging. It's the matte black packaging. Their newer packaging does have the clear front where you can actually see the colors of the shadows, but I do have the older one. But here is the actual palette. It's just going to be a colorful all matte eyeshadow palette. So you do have your really pretty like orange, your purples, your blues, your greens. And with this actual eyeshadow palette, you do get a black right here, and then you also get a nice brown right here, and then you also get like a lighter brown right here as well. So this palette definitely gives you like the browns and the black, but again, it's a straight matte eyeshadow palette. And typically with colorful eyeshadow palettes, you primarily see a lot of like shimmer shades compared to like matte shadows. So with this one, it's just a straight matte palette. So again, it's going to be that palette that can work as a companion palette. So say for example, this particular palette, you can easily grab the blacks and the browns from this one to just work alongside this one if you wanted to. Or you could just stick to an all matte eyeshadow look and just keep it moving. I haven't used this palette yet thus far, but I can honestly say this. In terms of the matte for matte eyeshadows, the ones I've actually played with, you do get the pigment, but you have to actually like build up the intensity to see the actual color payoff. So I kind of feel like this may be the same way because 2 of their palettes have done that to me before. So I kind of feel like this one might be the same way in terms of having to build up the intensity of the color to get the actual pigment, or it might just be pigmented off back. I don't know, I haven't used it yet, but I do have it in my collection. You guys, I don't typically play with color too much. I bought this palette because I wanted to just, I guess, start playing with actual colors, and I have come a long way in terms of like venturing off. You guys know I'm a straight warm tone girl, but I do venture off in the pink and purple arena in terms of like actual color, and I'm starting to like slowly incorporate other colors as well. So I'm really hoping this year you guys can actually see some like really pretty like colorful looks on my channel, besides the typical like warm or neutral colors. But here is the pink, the blue, and the green swatched on my hand, and that's just one swatch. I didn't even like go back and build it up, so let me just go back over it one more time so you guys can see how it looked when you kind of like build up the intensity of the color. All right, so the hair of the color is built up on my hand. So again, it does build up really nicely, and like I said, for their shadows you just have to kind of like keep blending, keep packing on, keep blending, keep packing on. But I just kind of feel like I don't mind. I just kind of feel like you just get more control, and with color is one of those things for me. I rather just go in and like take my time with it. I don't want it to be like bam, like color, and then it's like I mess up, you know. So I don't mind something that requires me to just keep putting in the work, because I can just get it up to my intensity and then just kind of go from there. So that is going to be the matte for matte eyeshadow palette. It's the Jewel Pop palette. So it's a really good matte eyeshadow palette for spring and summer. Moving on into the next one is going to be like your newer palettes from, actually no, I have one more old palette and then we'll go on to the newer palettes. The last older palette is going to be the Jaclyn Hill palette. You guys know she collabed with Morphe on her actual palette. This palette is nothing new because you guys have probably seen it. You probably already have it in your collection, but it's definitely a nice spring eyeshadow palette in my opinion. You do have primarily the pops of colors like on the last 2 bottom rows. Then you also have it like right here in this middle row as well. You do have your nice teal, you have your purple, you have your like your bluish purplish color, you have your orange, you do have like this like pretty mustardy yellow kind of color. So it's definitely more of like your neutral palette slash color palette slash warm tone palette. So she pretty much gave you like everything all in one. You do have the names of the shadows on the back as well, in case you're the kind of person who like to go along with your YouTubers when they do their actual makeup. So names are on the back, it's not going to be on the front, but her palette is a really good palette. It's super pigmented. I want to say, in my opinion, it's probably one of like Morphe's best palette to me, in my opinion, that I've actually used. And again, the color pigment is definitely there. You do get a nice array of colors. You get your browns, you also get a black in this palette. You can just create so many looks with this palette, and I kind of feel like everyone already have it in their collection. So I kind of feel like, to be honest with you, you don't have to buy any more palettes in terms of like a pop of color, because you do have it in here. Now if you're the kind of person who wants like the pinks and like more purple options, you don't really have that in this eyeshadow palette, so you may have to dabble into like another palette. Prime example, if you like these kind of like brighter pinks, brighter oranges, brighter yellows, you don't have it in the Jaclyn Hill palette. So you have to decide, like, do you like more of the really bright colorful actual shadows, or do you like more of the actual like muted pops of colors in terms of the actual eyeshadows? So you just have to decide which lane you want to take it. Do you want intensity and vibrant colors, or do you want like more muted pops of colors? So definitely check it out as another option. Again, it is a little bit more expensive compared to the other 2 palettes, but I mean, you get more shadows and then you do get more color options to play with. So definitely check it out. Her palette is, I want to say, it's actually a permanent part of the Morphe collection now, because you can still get it at Ulta today. Of course, the Morphe website, so definitely check it out if you want to buy that palette. All right, moving on, I do have by LA Girl. This is going to be all of like the newer palettes from 2019. I do have the LA Girl Wonderlust eyeshadow palette. Here is the packaging for it. I told you guys when I did my review on their Feverish eyeshadow palette that I really wanted to get my hands on this one, depending on how that palette performed. So since that palette performed really well, I did go back to the store and I purchased the Wonderlust eyeshadow palette. It's the same packaging as the Feverish eyeshadow palette, where it's the matte black, and then you have the writing on the front as far as the name is concerned. And when you open it up, here is what the actual palette look like. So you do get your actual like colors in this eyeshadow palette. You guys know the Feverish eyeshadow palette was more of like your warm tone colors. Here you do get like your greens, your blues, your oranges. You do get this like light muted pink color. You also get like a light sky blue silver kind of color. So they do give you like the actual colors in this eyeshadow palette. To me, this palette is just like Jaclyn's palette, where it's more muted. It's not as vibrant compared to the Aftershock eyeshadow palette by Bad Habit Beauty. So again, it's just up to you guys to decide which way you want to take it. I haven't played with this actual palette yet, so if you guys want to see me use this palette on my channel, let me know down below. I can definitely make it happen for you. But let's just swatch a few colors so we can see how they swatch. All right, so here is that bluish color swatched on my hand. So that one actually swatched really nicely. I'm gonna swatch this orange because it's really pretty. All right, so here is that orange. It's not as intense as in the pan like I thought it was going to be, but you guys know swatching it and actually putting it on your eyes is two different things. So I'm not gonna rule that actual color out yet. Just gonna swatch this green because it's really pretty as well. All right, and here is that green swatched on my hand. So again, it's going to be the LA Girl Wonderlust eyeshadow palette. You can pick it up at Ulta. I actually got mine on sale for like $8 and change. I want to say they had it like 30% off, but the palette is still super inexpensive. It's roughly $10. It's not going to break the bank. And you do get some really good options. Again, I've used the Feverish eyeshadow palette. I haven't used the Wonderlust eyeshadow palette. So if you guys want me to use it on my channel, I can definitely make it happen for you. Or I could just keep you guys updated in like a favorites video or something like that, as far as like my thoughts on it when I do eventually use it. But I do think just looking at it, it will definitely be a good option for springtime. If you're in the market for some colorful eyeshadow palettes, definitely check this one out. All right, moving on into the next palette is going to be the NYX Tropic eyeshadow palette. I just think the packaging on this is really beautiful. It definitely screams like spring and like tropical vacation vibes. This one is called Shifting Sand because they do have different options for the palettes like these. So again, mine is called Shifting Sands. And then when you open it up, here is what the actual packaging looked like. I was so disappointed because I was like, where is the mirror for the palette? Because this palette was roughly, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $20. So I'm like, yo, like where's the mirror for the palette? Because my LA Girl palette have a mirror and that cost me all of $10. So with a mirror at NYX. So anyways, here is the actual shadow for the palette in terms of the colors. I think the colors in here are so pretty. It just looks really like complementary to each other. In my opinion, if you look on this side of the palette, it screams more like warm tone colors, whereas on this part to me scream more like of like your pops of colors. But it's still a really pretty like islandish tropical kind of palette. And I think it's so pretty. So let's actually like swatch some colors. This orange right here is like calling my name. So let me swatch that one. Look at that orange one right there. All right, so here is that orange one swatched on my hand. It's so pretty. All right, let me swatch this pink. I think I want to play with this eyeshadow palette next in terms of like a fun, colorful palette next on my channel, because I do want to do like some spring tutorials. So I think it's going to be one that I will actually use because it's really pretty. Look at that pink one. All right, let me swatch this purple. The shimmer shade feels kind of like gritty when you first touch it. This is a really pretty color. I feel like when you swatch it, it feels really gritty. So I think application wise, you may have to wet your brush because I kind of feel like it's probably just going to like just crumble off. But again, when I actually use it, I will let you guys know. But when I seen it in store, I was like, oh, this is going to be like the perfect like spring palette. So I definitely just picked it up because it screamed like springtime to me, and I can honestly see myself using this palette in the fall as well. So definitely check this palette out. Again, it is quite expensive. I kind of feel like NYX palettes are just like creeping up there in price, but I just kind of felt like it was so pretty that I didn't mind it. So hopefully the palette actually performs. And the last one is going to be the Nasia Riviera eyeshadow palette. I do have it as my eye look on my eyes today, and I want to say it retailed for $42. I already did a review on my channel on this actual palette, so I'll have it down below for you guys to check it out. But here is the actual eyeshadow palette. This palette is so gorgeous, and I kind of feel like out of all of the palettes I showed you guys today, this to me is like the official springtime eyeshadow palette. I just think she did an awesome job with this eyeshadow palette. Everything just complements each other really nicely. I don't have to like second guess myself. I just think the colors are so pigmented. The shimmer shades, you have to kind of wet them because they kind of like crumble a little bit, but for the most part, once you wet them, they're perfectly fine. And this palette is just so beautiful. You guys know Nasia is the queen of eyeshadow palettes in my opinion. She just consistently knocks it out the park every single time, and I'm never disappointed by her. You do get a nice matte brown in the actual eyeshadow palette, so even though you don't have a black, she did give you a brown, which I do appreciate. But again, it's a really bomb eyeshadow palette. Again, I do have a review on my channel, so I won't really go into details about the actual palette, but I feel like if I had to recommend just one palette out of all of these actual eyeshadow palettes, I will say get the Nasia. Yes, you're gonna pay a little bit more for the actual palette, but I feel like the color payoff is just amazing. The colors are just so vibrant and beautiful, and I just think they blend out really nicely. And if you're afraid to play with color, I think it's definitely a user-friendly palette for beginners in terms of colors, because again, the colors just make sense together. Like there's no second guessing, and I have a vibrant, colorful look on my eyes right now, but when I actually did my review on this palette, it was more like a neutral look. You know what I'm saying? So you can still create different looks with this actual palette. So yeah, you guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please be sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Let me know below what is you guys go to like spring eyeshadow palettes. You guys know I love eyeshadow palettes, so I would love to just go out and check them out in stores and maybe purchase one or two. So let me know down below, and hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.